So, it's December. I'm Braden. This is Max Reviews. You're watching Max Reviews, and today we're going to be talking about Amazing Spider-Man, the reboot of the Spider-Man franchise that did they really need? We're going to be talking about that today. I just finished watching it for first time in a little while. I would say this is the most generic and forgettable Spider-Man movie out of every Spider-Man movie, whether good or bad. You'll remember it if it's good or if it's bad, but this one is just in the middle there. We're getting into the worst Spider-Man movies, so I need that support, so please like and subscribe. Ring the bell, comment down below what's the worst Spider-Man movie in your opinion, and we're almost getting there. We're almost there to Spider-Man No Way Home, and I am so pumped for this movie, cannot wait. But we gotta talk about Amazing Spider-Man, so I guess we better get started with the good for this movie. And off of watching it, it's hard to remember. I do this right after watching the Spider-Man movie that I'm talking about. I try to do it as soon as I can afterwards, and for this one, it's the hardest to remember stuff after just watching it, which is frustrating for this movie. But for the good, I gotta say Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield's relationship in this movie, their character dynamics, their relationship is the best part of this entire movie. So, this is like the big movie for them that poked them up just a bit more. And Andrew Garfield, like, just last month, he did Tick, Tick, Boom. And he might be getting an Oscar for it. There's talk of that. And he did A Social Network. He's still doing stuff. Emma Stone. This year, she did Cruella, one of my favorite movies of the entire year. She did The Help. She's been doing a bunch of stuff. Both of these big actors, and they're both in this movie, and I think their characters are great. Their chemistry is great, and they were dating while this was happening, so it was even better than it is now between them. With Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, I gotta say he's my worst Spider-Man, but I don't think he's a bad Spider-Man. I think he's a really good Spider-Man, but in a bad Spider-Man movie. Hopefully you understood that. Now, for Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, yeah, I think he is cooler than you would think Peter Parker to be. He's not the classic Spider-Man, but he's not trying to be that. He's trying to be something new. He's not trying to replace Tobey Maguire. He's trying to be the next Spider-Man. And not trying to replace Tobey Maguire, but try to live up to what Tobey Maguire did. So, I think you could feel more of the high school thing in this movie than you could with Spider-Man 2002, and you feel that that's up on the positive. I like how he doesn't just like tell Gwen I'm Spider-Man. He does the spiderweb thing and then kisses her. That seems more in character for him. It fits this. Other parts, I think at times the Lizard can be interesting. I'm not saying that he's great, but I think at times he could be a very interesting character with wanting to get your arm back. But that's about all he is. He's paper thin. Just wants to get his arm back. Other good stuff, I gotta say the Spider-Man suit, it looks cool. And then also, the fights with Lizard and Spider-Man, it looks very comic book accurate. I'd say it looks good, I would say. It looks very slick. In total, the movie might not be good, but this looks very slick. It looks slick. This is right around where, like, Avengers was coming out, the MCU was popping up, the X-Men were doing, like, their first class movies, they were doing stuff, and where the DCEU was slightly starting right around there with Man of Steel. That's the time and where it's starting to look more slick. I think Oscorp in this movie is a bit more present in Peter's life and stuff. Like, that's where he got the spider bite. It's just very interesting with that. And how he gets the spider bite, I don't think is the greatest, but where he gets it with Oscorp, that's interesting. Gwen Stacy, she always seems to be played by a famous actor, at least in these first few films, with having the girl that is in Jurassic World and the now Emma Stone doing these, playing Gwen Stacy. This is the best Gwen Stacy for me. I think Emma Stone is better than Spider-Gwen. With these Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man movies, I gotta say, I'm happy that they didn't make a third one, because the thing that was really holding these movies together was Gwen and Peter's relationship. If you got rid of that from this movie, it would be 100% paper thin, most generic Spider-Man movie ever, and I would really just not like it. But that's what sort of pulls this movie through. This is the worst Spider-Man movie that I've reviewed up to this point. It was hard between that and Spider-Man 3, but I gotta put this one a bit lower just because of everything other than the relationship between Peter and Gwen is fail, I think. If I gotta keep pushing for the good, it's harder now. I've used to be hard to push for the bad, but now for the good. I think when he first goes to try to get revenge for Uncle Ben, it could be really funny with this different kind of meaner but also funny, sarcastic version of Spider-Man. I mean, like, oh yeah, get out the door, you got this, bro, kind of thing. That works, and even when he's discovering his powers, it's not as memorable as Tobey Maguire, but it is, it's different. He's doing it while he's skating. It's a cooler version of Peter Parker, and it's like, yeah. Okay, yeah, we got to get into the bad now, so, bad, first scene, let's talk about it. We have little Peter. That doesn't work. That just doesn't work. Everything with his parents does not work in these two Amazing Spider-Man movies, but in this one, it's just left hanging, like, who was his parents? Oh, who knows, yeah. Because I feel like that should be addressed. It's a big gaping question that we never explored, but it gets addressed, and they were a big secret organization, worked with Lizard Dude, It's very, like, yikes, really, this is what his parents did. The spider bite, as I said, isn't good. Aunt Ben and Aunt May, their characters are not memorable. I think Uncle Ben just seems a lot more cynical of Peter. He's not like, remember, Peter, I want this to be good for you. With great power comes great responsibility. Now he's being, you gotta have responsibility, kid. Yeah, responsibility. It's not this, it's this. And, like, yikes, come on. You're supposed to be the guy that we feel bad for? No, I actually feel like it was a bit better when he was dead, unfortunately. The Lizard, we gotta talk about him. Dr. Connors. I like Dr. Connors more from Spider-Man 2 and 3 than from this movie, because he seems more like the Lizard, and he seems more like a scientist. This just seems like a guy that's lost his arm and is trying to get it back. We do see him at home, but he's just generic. Guy that loses his brain kind of thing, gets a redemption at the end, and is a mad scientist that works at Oscorp, or for Oscorp. Yeah, you're talking about Green Goblin? No, not him. Oh, Doc Ock? No, not him. Oh, you're talking about Harry. Yeah, Harry, the new Green Goblin or whatever. No. There was a lizard guy, I can't remember his name. What was it? I can't remember. Yeah, that's what you think of when you think of this guy. He's, like, just generic. He's not memorable, like, a few days ago when I talked about Venom. And Venom, he was memorable because he was bad. This guy, he's not even memorable. And he's not bad. I'd call him bad, yes. The Lizard, Lizard looks okay, but really he just talking like Peter Parker. And talking like that, going in through the kids thing, the toilets is just, what? Weird. Peter trying to get a picture for the Daily Bugle, it doesn't seem like it's supposed to. It seems like, yeah, I'm just gonna hang out here, gonna get some pics of the Lizard. No, and just his name was on the back of the camera, really? That's how the Lizard figures it out. It's so not great. Whereas in the first two Spider-Man movies, when the villain figures it out, it's like, wow, this means something. This is huge. And he's just like, oh yeah, it's Peter Parker. Crush. No, that's not what you feel. Like, that was one of the greatest sequences in Spider-Man 1. No, not for this. Other things, I haven't really addressed Gwen's dad. I'd put that in the bad. It's just, yeah. He was there. He died. And then, in the end, they go to his funeral, but you don't really feel anything. You're just like, he was a generic police guy that lived with his family, and then he died. He told Peter. The one meaningful thing is, like, keep Gwen out of this. And then that's not what happens. Yeah. And then you get, like, that final scene in the movie, and Peter's like, yeah, the best promises are ones that you don't keep. It is like, what? The guy's dying wish was for you to leave his daughter alone, and you're not going to do that. But I actually feel good because that's, like, the absolute best thing, other than slightly cool action, of Amazing Spider-Man 2. Widely regarded as the worst Spider-Man movie ever. So we'll be talking about that next. I got to steam through these movies. And then we got Venom, and then then we have Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse. Then we have Venom, Let There Be Carnage, Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man Far From Home, and then finally Spider-Man No Way Home. It's going to be a long few weeks here, people, so please like, subscribe, comment down below your favorite and least favorite Spider-Man movie. What do you think of Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man? And what do you think of these movies and the villains in this? I'm going to be doing, after I do the Spider-Man movies, I'm going to rank them. After I do my review for No Way Home, I'm going to rank the Spider-Man movies, the Spider-Man villains, the Spider-Man final battles, the Spider-Man trilogies, and yeah, I'm going to rank everything Spider-Man, and then also Venom and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse along with those. So, thanks so much for watching. I'm Brayden. This is Max Reviews. Brayden out.